Good evening, scholars, and welcome to week 7 of BMG 140 Introduction to Business. Just as a heads up, this is a 2-module week, meaning Chapter 7 and Chapter 8 are both covered this week in all assignments. That's the discussion that starts on Thursday or due by Thursday and replies by Sunday, the study session, and also the quiz. So make sure you are getting a head start so you can complete all of your activities. So where do we stand? As of today, we are at 485 points. Now, there is going to be a discrepancy with the points because I am not finished grading all of the career exploration reports. So if I have finished grading your report and you see a grade in Blackboard, your total is 485. If I have not graded it, you turned it in, but you don't have a score yet, you are measuring your points against 360. Again, 485 if you have a grade and 360 if you do not. So this week we are covering Module 7, Module 8, Chapter 7, and Chapter 8. So let's take a look at what's going to be covered in each one of those. So starting with Chapter 7, it's finishing up our discussions on the management major. Again, for any students who are considering management, these chapters are dedicated for you. So we're lastly looking at how to manage team, leadership styles, etc. So one of the main theories that comes forth in this chapter are the 4 functions of management, and that is planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, which was first identified by Henry Fayol, and it is something that is very prevalent in management textbooks, the management concentration. You will see those 4 functions a lot. Depending on which books you read, you may see a 5th function of scheduling added in there, but everybody agrees with those 4 functions, and that is fairly consistent against all textbooks. When it comes to management styles, the book goes over 3 main styles to look at. These can be leadership styles as well. So you have autocratic, laissez-faire, and participative. So let's touch base on each one of those. The autocratic style is a style of leadership where you do not consult others. You make decisions and you simply inform people of those decisions without their input. It doesn't really sound like the best form of management. Most people in an everyday situation do not prefer this. However, autocratic leaders can be great leaders depending on the situation. It is said that autocratic leaders are best in the times of crisis and also in situations where their expertise is needed to turn a situation around. They're not really there to seek input. They're there to get a job done, and so let them do their job to move on. The next style of management is laissez-faire. This is a hands-off style of management. This is a style where you simply give objectives, you give goals, and you leave it up to your team to figure out how to get it done. No micromanaging at all. And so a laissez-faire manager can work well in situations where you have a highly skilled, educated, experienced workforce that doesn't need your micromanagement. They just simply need guidance. So you're giving them an objective and you trust. Well, trust is also a big factor there. And you trust that they're going to get it done because they are the ones who are doing the job. They have, again, the expertise, the skills, the technical ability to get the job done, and you trust them to do that. The last style is democratic. Democratic is often the most favored style of leadership or management. This is sharing decision making with your team. So you have a goal, you have things you need to accomplish, but before you make a decision, you bring it to them, you seek input, feedback, and you try to incorporate it as best as possible. So that's one of the reasons why most people do favor this style of management. Jumping into Chapter 8, we are looking into managing processes. This chapter is coincides with a supply chain or logistics major or operations management. So starting off, operations manager responsible for the activities involved in transforming a concept into a finished product or service. This is referred to as a transformation process, where you take a set of inputs, you transform them into, your inputs are raw materials, and you transform them into a product or a service that can be consumed by the public. I'm going to jump to where it talks about supply chain as well. Supply chain is a very or concentration that's in demand, especially in the 4-year market. If you're looking to transfer, Michigan State, Wayne State have excellent programs in supply chain. But supply chain is the management activities that maximize customer value and allow the company to gain a competitive advantage. How do they do that? So many different things are involved in it: logistics, purchasing, negotiating, inventory management. All of this is surrounding supply chain management. And speaking of inventory management, this chapter is going to go over many different ways to manage that. I'm going to just highlight one of them, the just in time. So this is a strategy that really focuses on improving efficiency, and essentially is saying that you're only going to have your inventory or your supplies in your warehouse just in time for them to go into your product. So you're not going to store tons and tons of supplies because that's a waste of space. You can be using that space for something else. What happens if you don't need these supplies? So just in time focuses on getting your materials delivered right in time for them to go onto your finished product, therefore increasing your efficiency, decreasing waste. So it's one of those, it's a very common manufacturing or inventory management process. All right, well, that is our modules for this week. Again, make sure you are pacing yourself. I do want to highlight one error. It says work on section 3 of the career exploration report. It should say section 1. Just make sure you are pacing yourself and you're doing each section a different piece each week, and you will definitely have it completed in time for the second submission. Have an amazing week.